Hello and welcome again to another episode of Viva Enthusiast. Today we are going to talk about Cigar Aficionado's top 2 favorite rated Carrillo Boy cigars. And here we have them. This is the latest one, the EP Carrillo Pledge Prequel for Ernesto Perez Carrillo, which scored last year in 2020 was the #1 rated cigar of the year and scored a whopping 98 points. And it's supposed to be, if I'm not wrong, the first ever cigar that's got scored 98 in a top 25 rating. So we'll see about that. And then of course the other one, which was rated #1 in 2018 with a rating of 96, the Ernesto Perez Carrillo Encore Majestic. So we shall see today if, well, you already know my feelings about Cigar Aficionado and their 90+ rated scores, but we'll see today if those cigars will really match up to Viva. I mean, 98+ rating is pretty much saying 24 out of 25. 96 rating is pretty much saying, you know, high 23s, 23.6, at least 23.5 plus out of 25. So that is a big rating. You know, if you're scoring 23 plus 5, I'll say yeah, you're on that 96 rating plus. So we shall see how they get on. So now I'm actually going to choose to go with the Prequel today. So we're going to start off. I was going to do the Encore. However, I don't know what it is. There's something about it. I just feel I'm going to enjoy, or maybe not enjoy, but I'm going to prefer the Encore Majestic more to the Prequel. Not totally sure what that is. I just personally feel, I don't know what it is. I just feel like I'm going to enjoy the Encore more. However, I would rather prefer it in the Prequel size, but that is the smallest they do in the Encore. Now, I'll give you a little history about Ernesto Perez Carrillo. He was actually born in Cuba in 1904, so the whole, you know, his roots come all the way back from Cuba. And when he was there, his father, if I'm not wrong, he used to sell like penny cigars and stuff on the street. Was a little bit involved in the tobacco industry, so he kind of slowly sort of learnt it through that way. He then established sort of the business, so he launched the family business obviously in the tobacco industry, and they bought a factory in 1948, and that was called El Credito. So I know obviously people that know their stuff now. But El Credito, the original El Credito, was actually back in Cuba, and it was also part of the Perez family, and that's where, you know, that's where the factory and everything started. He was actually then quite a respected figure within the cigar community and within Cuba, and I think he was also put up into Senate as well, Ernesto Senior. So he was, you know, a well-rounded person and well respected within the community. When Castro came, obviously the revolution came, and a lot of times, especially with Ernesto, he had some issues and stuff with the whole regime and with Castro. So a lot of times he was actually sort of arrested and sort of a little bit sort of imprisoned and arrested and so forth. A lot of time they fight with the government. So after this, he actually then fled, due to revolution, fled to Miami and took the family all the way to Miami. It wasn't until much later that around 1960, so about a few years later after, when he purchased a factory in Little Havana, which then is now called El Credito, and obviously that was made due to the history he had in Cuba. He sort of wanted to sort of recreate that whole dynasty back over again. Obviously his aim was to actually go back to Cuba. So he actually built this factory and so forth, and was hoping to go back to Cuba with the family and kick on again like he did with the cigar business. Fortunately, obviously, that never really happened due to obviously cash taken over and so forth. In 1980, Junior, so Ernesto Junior, took over the company, and he basically he wanted to sort of make the Cuban Davidoff. So he wanted to, his inspiration of creating cigars so forth came from the Cuban Davidoff, back when Davidoff was back in Cuba, and that is when he created La Gloria Cubana. Now, not the Cuban version, the New World version. So he created La Gloria Cubana, which was obviously a Dominican cigar, and this basically, kicked up the boom up from 98, around early 90s, up to about 93, and it really was kicking the boom on the American side. In then 99, they sold the company to a Swedish match, and then it became, and I suppose pretty much became a boutique brand, which is what it is today. It's pretty much just a boutique brand. Yeah, obviously highly, they're highly respectable in the New World community, and I'll definitely say obviously in America, which is their biggest and main market, to be honest. Obviously they are worldwide, but America is their main market, obviously known where it's based right now and so forth. Now, obviously, the origin is Dominican Republic. So back when Junior was bringing up the company and so forth, obviously he always wanted to go back to Cuba, and he couldn't go back to Cuba, so they looked at different places where to go. Dominican Republic was seen as one of the best places at the time for tobacco and so forth. So they get their tobacco in Dominican Republic from the Cibao Valley. So it's supposed to be a really great area, sort of Abajo sort of region of Cibao, and apparently it has this famous river valley that goes past where it's called the Cibao Valley, and apparently some people claim this is the only valley in the world, sort of region that can compete with Cuba's Vota Abajo, which is supposed to be and is the best, most premium place in the world of high quality premium tobacco. So there he established a factory. It was called Tabacalera La Alianza, and that was there in Dominican Republic in Santiago. So he bought like a lot of, I can't remember how much it was, about 50 square, whatever it is, meters of land, and then he sort of created a factory. And this was basically the demand for La Gloria Cubana was rising really high. So it was way before the Perez Carrillo brand. It was when La Gloria Cubana was rising really high, and they needed a factory to accommodate those demand. Back in 93, I think they had like a top high scoring torpedo back in like 93, and had to keep back, basically had to back order things a year later because they just had so much demand. They didn't have the facilities to fulfill that demand. So then he got this factory in Santiago in Dominican Republic, and then what he did was when he got all the rollers, he then retrained them all. So he learned everything, all the reins from his father. So he initially was a jazz musician and he liked cigars, but he wasn't really sure about going to cigar business. Obviously, when his father had trouble and was passing, and when he was going to actually sell the company over, originally before early days and his father's days, he then took up the mantle of taking on the cigar business because he thought this was his calling. So and that is where he then put in his own methods, and then what he wanted to do was he got all the rollers in that factory to then roll the Cuban way and not the New World or Dominican way that they have. Obviously everyone has their own sort of way, Dominican, Honduras, Nicaraguan, etc., but he wanted it back to their roots of rolling it the Cuban way. Now obviously they have tobacco all over in Dominican Republic and Nicaragua. In Nicaragua, it's the Esteli, Cuandeja and Jalapa region. Apparently the Esteli soil is a lot more to get that heavy, full flavoured, darker leaf, that sort of Maduro leaf, and that is why that's favoured with a lot of regions, with a lot of brands and companies using leaf in Esteli. The Cuandeja is a tobacco which is mainly sun grown. so you get mainly sun-grown tobaccos there, and people use it a lot for their filler and binder. The Jalapa Valley is supposed to give you this sweet sort of earthy flavour, and obviously that has to do with the soil in the valley and the river coming around. That obviously has a input and influence on how the soil grows. Now I can't put this video up obviously, but I did a head-to-head of the Hoyo de Monterrey San Juan and the Rio Seco. Obviously Rio Seco, River Seco, and the San Juan is the San Juan Valley. And I was saying to you that the reason why it's called San Juan and so forth is because that's one of the major regions where Hoyo de Monterrey, so the Cuban brand, not the legacy, the Hoyo de Monterrey pick a lot of their tobacco from that San Juan Valley, and the Rio Seco is a river within that Seco, so a river that goes around from that San Juan Valley, so they get a lot of tobaccos from that San Juan Valley, and that's where a lot of their premium tobacco comes from. And it's pretty much the same with the Jalapa Valley, where people get their tobacco from, and it's supposed to give you this more sweeter, earthier flavour. They also get their tobacco from Ecuador. So back obviously for New World countries, they had a lot of struggle when Cuba obviously has their own Cuban seed and their own tobacco. Is a lot easier for them to get their own stuff, whereas New World, they've got to sort of go out and get regions and so forth to get certain things. Now they had an issue with wrappers, and Ecuador at the time wasn't a place that had been used. Now Ecuador is a very volcanic climate, so a lot of times people go there to grow the tobacco and mainly get a lot of Ecuadorian. You would hear a lot of times Ecuadorian sun-grown wrapper, and I'll come to this bit in a second. So a lot of people now use Ecuadorian obviously with their binder and fillers, and it's grown out. Now the reason why I did this bit was because of the volcanic climate. It's actually really good for tobacco produce, for producing leaf, for the climate, for the soils. Obviously in the day you'll get that sort of breeze, at night time it's that sort of coolness, you get the heat as well from the volcanic ash. It makes you know, that volcanic ash has a lot of sort of nutrients and influence that goes into the soil. Now because of that, I was saying the breeze and the cloud cover, because of the whole region obviously is over volcanics, they have this term that people call it as cloud grown and not sun. So obviously you say it's sun grown, but a lot of people say cloud grown because of the clouds from the volcanic ash actually go all over the tobacco plantations where people got it growing, where they're growing obviously all the tobacco. So that a lot of people sort of refer to it as more as Ecuadorian cloud grown instead of sun grown. Now I did actually want to do this series with a third cigar. There was another one I wanted to actually do, however I just couldn't actually get it for the series, and that is the La Historia. Now the La Historia was the number 2 rated in 2011. Oh no, sorry, 2014. It was a number 1 rated 2014, and that was given a 94 rated. So they've got 3 top high rated cigars. Whether they're any good or not, we shall find out. But basically the Encore was made because of the success of the La Historia, so they had to make something, another big statement, bold statement out in the industry, and that is where the Encore came from, and then so forth proceeded to the Pledge. Now I said today we are going to kick off with this, the Pledge Prequel, the latest number 1 by Cigar Aficionado for 2020 with 98 rating. Now there's 2 that come in this blend. Is the Prequel, which is a 5" by 50 Robusto, and you have a Sojourn, which is a 6" by 52, which is pretty much a Toro basically. So obviously the origin is Dominican Republic, it's sort of rolled etc. in Dominican Republic. The filler is from Nicaragua. The wrapper is actually from USA. It's a Havana seed Connecticut, so it's a Connecticut Havana seed wrapper, and the binder comes from Ecuador. It's supposed to be a box press, but it's quite, now I'm looking at it, it's more box press, but earlier when I was looking at it, it wasn't really that more pronounced box press. It was quite a sort of what I call a soft box press. It's quite a soft box press. And let me take it out of the cellophane. Obviously it comes with the footband as well, but I took the footband off So yes, we're gonna light it. So yeah, let's see. It does have a triple cap. It's a bit shoddy and messy though. It's not to Cuban standards, I have to say. I know it's got a little bit of top, and I know obviously the box press has some influence into that, but it's still quite shoddy. When I smelled it, it was just literally just chocolate. Yeah, it's like a mix of milk and dark chocolate cocoa cacaos. And yeah, so enough talk. Let's light and see 90 rated or not. It's a very Maduro looking wrapper. It's a tight bloody cut. My gosh, that is really tight. Feels packed as well. Feels packed, but okay. So, maybe it's the band. It was quite tight on that bit there, but we'll see how it goes. Only thing with these box press, I do love a box press. But with a box press, you've got to be very careful how you light it, because it's a box press. You're used to, you're used to lighting it in a cylindrical way. Box press, you've got to be very careful you don't take off the wrapper. You just got to take a little bit more concentration and pay attention to what's going on. Oh, it's not peppery straight away, man. I think it's supposed to be quite full-bodied, but it's not pepper straight away. Straight away, peppery, spicy, good kick to the middle part of your throat. It's got this taste to it, and I can't quite get what it is. I am a fan usually of Dominican. Obviously it's a mix now of Dominican tobacco. So Arturo Fuente Magnum 52, I loved. I did a series as well, which obviously is not going to come up on the vlog now, but it will be right up, a New World Toro series. And I did the Oliver Cervi Milan, not Milan, just a Cervi Double Toro, and the Maifa Flor de Antillas Toro, and I did a head-to-head of La Flor Dominicana Ligero versus the Double Ligero La Flor Dominicana. That was great. The first two terrible Nicaraguans were just boring as hell. Some of West Guard smoked this year, and the La Flor Dominicana was much better, but the Ligero really surprised me. I thought it wasn't going to be better than the double, but it really was. It was a good rating score. It was. I think it scored about 20. I think 20, maybe 21 for the Ligero, and it was definitely going to be one of my favourite ratings for the year. It was great smoke, but I thought maybe I might like because it's Dominican, but the mix of the tobaccos, we're going to see, because it's not really Dominican, it's more of a Nicaraguan, but at loose, that drawer is so loose. I was puffing. You can hear it's like, you can hear it when you draw. Still, oh, look at that underfill. Oh my, New World Construction. And remember the video that I made, Cuban versus New World Construction. There you go. Look at that underfill. I don't know if it's gonna show. Don't know if you can see that spot. I don't know how deep you can see that, but already got an underfill going in there. Not even like a centimetre in. Still really peppery and spicy, and it's that right kick in that. Gives you a good kick in that Adam's apple part of the throat, man. But I'm not really getting nothing else from it at the moment. getting a slight twang. The earth is it's called Ecuadorian binder. But full of that Nicaraguan, that man was saying about that jalapa, sort of that sweet earth that it was talking about. It's got that kind of earthy note, but it's got like a kind of like a sweetness there to it. Like I can actually taste that. Don't know if it's really the wrapper though or the filler, but I can actually taste something kind of coming through. I know I'm being really slow with this one. It's just I'm trying to take my time. You know, it's supposed to be 98 rated, so I'm trying to take my time a little bit of trying to see what it is. Obviously, it's still very early days, but it's got that kind of earthiness and then like a twang, like a tanginess. Sorry, like a tanginess to that earth, and just that very peppery spice. Output is great though. I'm not really getting nothing in the retro. I'm going to do one more. I don't know what colour is it. I'm actually not getting nothing in the retro for now. Surprised. I thought it was going to burn my nose, but I didn't. So, yeah, that's where we're at right now. Burn's already just going off. Look at that. Not yet rated. Yeah. That's that underfill. You see that hole? Yeah, you can see that hole right there. It's not going to come up as deep. I'm trying to angle it. Yeah, there you go. You might be able to get a bit of a better angle. Not yet rated. Yeah. New word construction. Yeah. So yeah. Really long intro. Apologies for that, but I'll come back to you later in this and then I'll let you know how we got on. So yeah, check you guys in a bit. Viva.
Of course it's possible. Look at my pits.
So guys, we are here. Second, third. That's gonna focus. There you go. Just before the band bit. I'm bored as hell. I'm bored as hell. I'm gonna quickly things for review ash. I'll show you the ash actually before I go. Yeah, I'll show you the ash in case it does drop off. Come on, man, focus, man. So the light, it's funny now. The burn line now, because it's about to ash, has just got back on. But the burn line just before this was terrible. It corrected itself back to this in the first third, and then it went complete jaggedy again, and then now that it's gonna ash, it's sort of just re-corrected itself. So it can't make its mind out. It's kind of, it's good, it's corrected itself, but like, why does it have to keep doing it? I don't understand. The underfill is now in the middle. Don't know if that's gonna pick up. You see that? If I light them in the hair. You can see that, but the underfill is now in the middle. Oh, there actually, it's just got bigger. Oh, my camera's just playing about today. I don't know what's going on there. See that hole in the middle? So it's right all the way through, because when I was earlier, I was looking at it and it was just right all the way through. Just utterly ridiculous. The band test now, I've got to be careful with this because it's so close right now. I'm going to ash it, I'm just going to ash it, can't be arsed. Part of it just dropped off anyway. So let's band test it. Now the first third was just literally just dead. Yeah, I had that peppers and spice. The peppers and spice has pretty much gone down now. It's still there, but it's really low. And the only thing was that earth. The earth, you know, was giving that sort of tanginess. And then it was changing a little bit that earth to like a softer note. It was giving me a bit more of a, like a minerally kind of flavour. It was giving me like the miswak. Remember if I guys talked about the miswak, the stick, do if you brush your teeth. It was giving me that kind of mineral flavour you get from miswak, with that little bit of sort of like, the miswak's got that citrusy tang. It doesn't have, this is not sort of sweet, it didn't have that citrus, but it just had like some sort of tanginess there as part of that earth. It was like a mineral kind of flavour, and that's it. I've been bored at my brain. It's just that I've got Dave Chappelle one, and this cigar is pretty much like a comedy. 98 rating. What about it is 98 rating? Who knows? But not here. That was a nice puff, I actually have to say. Just peppers and spice, and I don't know what that taste is. It's got a great output, I'll give you that. Give me this retro. It's got this weird taste. I don't know what this taste is. It's got this weird taste to it. It's coming out of retro. I can't even resonate what that is. It's so weird. It's not earth. I can't even tell you what it is. It's like, this is gonna sound really, really, really stupid. Yeah, it's gonna sound really stupid. But it smells a bit like dust. Like, you know when you hoovered and you're throwing out. You know, you throw out the stuff. So when you hoover the stuff out and you empty the hoover, and it's got that dust smell, all that dust. That's what come off the retro. That's all the flavour I can like. That's what's kicking me. It was just dust. But I didn't want to say that. That's the only thing I'm getting at. It's a weird. It's got this biscuit flavour to it though. Comes off the end of the nose like a biscuit taste. It's got a kind of biscuit taste, and then that strange taste and a bit of earth. That's it. One of those boring cigars I've had all year. Strange cigar as well. Strange cigar. So yeah, that's why I had to wait this first. So I'll come back in a little bit later. Maybe around mid-band, and I'll give a score and I'll wrap up. But this certainly ain't 98. When Viva style a 24 plus rating. Nah, sorry guys. But I'll come back to you in a bit with some numbers. So guys, we're here at the last third. Camera just been up a bit. Burn on, as you can see. Off again. All the way on off. I don't know what is going on with it, why he's doing that, I just don't know. I'm just gonna just can't be asked to bother. Give you what it says now. So you can still see that underfill. See? As I was running my fingers, you can actually feel, obviously it's hot, but you can feel how easy that is. You can feel where it's underfilled. You can feel the holes in there. It's a shame. Total shame. No, it's just been earthed when it's second, third. Boring. Just earth. Change a little bit. I told you I had that kind of weird, strange, dusty kind of aroma and taste, and that's come off the retro and stuff. And then the earth moved off. And it came a bit more smooth. So it was very smooth, and then nothing really happened. Pepper and spice touch a little bit came last third. Pepper spice went, came back a little bit of a dash. It's more of a like a ground black pepper and spice. A little bit came in there, and then that earth came, and it kind of changed a little bit. When I mean change, it kind of like moved a little bit. So it wasn't. Okay, it came with complex flavours. It definitely don't come with that. It just came, that earth was just a bit more stronger in its variant. So it was still smooth and subtle, but it was a bit stronger. Where it was just kind of like flowing. It was a bit more stronger there. But that's it. Like, just earth. The whole way is earth. The only good thing about this, honestly, is the output. The output is fantastic, great output. Thick smoke, creamy smoke at times as well. But that's it. The band that came off, that is the band. That's gonna focus. It's a lovely band, I'll give it out. That is the band. It came off easily enough. But yeah, guys, this car crash. It's been terrible. To be honest. So the scores are burn 2.3 out of 5. Just the whole way just been up, down, corrects itself. The reason it's got a 2 is because it just corrects itself. When it has corrected itself, it's been alright. But then it just goes off. I don't understand. It corrects itself and it goes offline again. It's just like no issues. Had to relight it once as well. It just went alight for no reason. Whatever. Construction 4 out of 5. Only reason it's got that, even though it had that underfill, just the output, the output's really kept it going. Probably too high, but you know, it's got to be one good thing about it, and the construction was the one good thing in terms of output. Output was just fantastic. I really loved that output. Yeah, the underfill, obviously, the underfill was there. The reason why it got 4 was because the underfill was there, but it didn't. I don't feel like it necessarily impacted the experience. Funny enough, it was there and stuff, but it didn't impact it as I thought it would. So yeah, that was that. The flavour profile 2.5 out of 5. It only got that extra half point plus because the way that last third came with that earth just tasted a bit more nicer, and obviously that strange dusty kind of weird strange taste I got in the second third was just horrible. So yeah, that obviously doesn't count to that. Transition 2 hasn't transitioned at all, just stayed the same the whole way through, stayed the exact same way, but the way it came with that earth bit in the last bit and moved off from that horrible second third, so ranked up a point, and finished 3 out of 5 because the output was nice. When you got that little bit of earth and a little bit of pepper spice, it was, you know, it's decent enough. It's not going to knock you out, it's decent enough. Nicotine has kind of gone off a bit. I'll say it's a medium cigar for me. I wouldn't say full-bodied, you know. I can see why people say it's full-bodied. For me, it's a medium-bodied. Part of a heavier side of medium at points, but it's a medium-bodied cigar. Flavors mild, easily mild flavored. It's not strong flavour. I don't know where they even get that from. So altogether, that is 2.76 out of 5, or 13.8 out of 25. One of the worst scars in the channel. So yeah, so that is the Pledge Prequel. Unfortunately, it was terrible, but we shall move on to the Encore Majestic, and we'll see if that can at least, you know, be better than the Pledge Prequel, which I'm hoping it will be. So catch me up for that one, guys. So we're back, guys, with the Encore Majestic. Let's get the camera to focus there. Now, this was the #1 rated in 2018, and was given a 96 rating by Cigar Aficionado. So, highest score, one of the second highest that they ever had for a #1, which I've seen. Now, this absolutely dwarfs the Pledge Prequel in size. Look, it's not much major difference, but it really dwarfs it. It really does. It's a 5 3/8 inch, so 3/8 of an inch longer, and it's a 52 ring gauge, so a ring gauge bigger than the Pledge Prequel, which is a 50. Of course, at the end of the roster is the smallest in the line of this format. You have the Celestial, which is a 618 inch by 50, which is sort of like a Magnum 50 Monte Cristo Doble Mundo sort of vitola. You then have the El Primero, which is 678 by 54, so you could say that is like a, what is like that? Not quite sure what that is. It's like that in the Habanos way. It's basically a Toro, but I don't know, Grand Toro or something you could probably say. You got the Valientes, which is a Torpedo, and that is a 6 1/8 inch by 6 1/8 inch by 52, which is pretty much sort of like the classic Habanos Rosto, classic Habanos Torpedo size. Now the origin is of course the Dominican Republic, but everything else, the binder, the filler, and the wrapper is all from Nicaragua, so quite different to the Pledge Prequel. So we're going to cut a light and we'll see how this one gets on. So let's cut a light. Again, another thing as well I just don't understand is the messy caps on these. It's not the greatest of caps I need. Has to do the box press or what, but it's sort of unacceptable really for Mr. Perez Carrillo and their standards and getting these higher ratings and whatnot. Now I did feel I might like this one better, don't know why, but all Nicaraguan tobaccos, we shall see if it is anything better. Instantly I feel it different. Or different instant in size. I could taste that peppers in that instantly. So first off, it's exactly like the prequel. Peppers and spice. It's got this sort of charred chili paprika flavour. What's that? What's smoked paprika? That's the one. Smoked paprika. So you have paprika, and you have smoked paprika. It's got a very smoked paprika flavour toast to it. Very smooth. It's got a earthy sort of vegetable note coming through it. Instantly, for the moment, it's not much, but it's a bit more to it than the prequel and better. You can see that comes out in a bit up, but burn line already off. What is it about these? I don't understand. How's it already going off? Yeah, pepper spice. It's got an earthy vegetable flavour to it, and that smoked paprika is the big note I can really take off from this. So it's an alright start. It's better than the prequel for now, but I'll let you know how we get on later on. So guys, we are in the second, third. Just gonna get out of focus if I can. The burn, it's always when I come to it that it kind of corrects itself. So you can just, there we go. Yeah, you can see, corrected itself, but it's still offline. It's been cracked the whole way through. Don't know what's going on with it, but it's just been cracked the whole way through. So typical. So we're gonna put off the band here. Yeah, actually I'm going to ash this first. Can't even get this off. Gosh, there we go. What's dropping splash on me? So that one's off. Pretty much nice and easy. So far it is just boring. It's gone down steady. It started a steady eddy route. It's just going along steady eddy route, from a steady eddy to on the way to boring, just earth. Don't know if you see that output of the cap. A little clip of it anyway, so I'll put it in. Earth. That's it. Just earth. Like, I'm really not getting nothing else from this. Pepper, spice are gone. That nice vegetable aroma that come with the earth disappeared a long time ago. Boring. Just another stick. It's quite boring. So I'm really disappointed, man. I mean, well, I'm not disappointed at all. I'm not disappointed at all. That's why, yeah. But yeah, I just thought there'd be a little bit more to it. It started off that way, but it's just pretty much going along the same route. Burn is just like the pledge, just terrible. The ash is alright. The construction's fine. Doesn't seem like there's any underfills for the moment. No, it does feel a bit soft as we come in here, like soft. But yeah, I'll come back a bit later in the Encore band and give you numbers, but as I can't really see this doing anything major. 16s, from what I'm seeing, 16s to 17s what it's going to score. Max 18 unless something major happens, but it's not going to get anything more than that. So yeah, no, definitely not 94 rating, that's for sure. So I can check you guys in a bit when I come with some numbers. So the last third, band is off. I don't know if it's going to focus. Where we're at the moment. Touched it up, reel it, and then burns off again. It's just story of the Encore. So I have to say this has been steady eddy boring smoke. To be honest, there's just nothing going on. There's nothing going on. Just earth, no peppers and spice. Ever so slight now I'm getting it, but really it's just earth and kind of a tiny bit of leather. Draw is okay, it's loose, obviously really loose. Output is great, of course, but that is it. None of that vegetable note of earth that we was getting earlier on. Nothing, nada. Output is just great. Output's fantastic, but that's all that's going on. If it's gonna pick up that, yeah, it's just oozing off. Don't know if that will really pick it up properly, but yeah, guys, that is the Encore. So numbers: burn 3 out of 5. Burn line has just been atrocious. Always you know, having to touch it up. It's like the pledge, but it's been a bit better than the pledge, that's for sure. Has gone all out on me once as well. Same thing as the pledge. Construction 4.5 out of 5. It hasn't had an underfill. If it has, it hasn't come out and shown. Output is great. It's ash has been good and solid. Ash has been like that. So just give it a set. So it's like that. This one's cleaner, but when it builds ash, it's been that whitish grey, which is nice. A little bit messy the way it was going around, but it was clean and solid the way it didn't have no pennies and dimes. It was just clean slates, so that was different. It's quite nice. Flavor profile 2.8 out of 5. Just the 0.8s come from the little early flavors. Bit of leather now. That's it. Nothing's going on. Transition 2 out of 5. It hasn't transitioned at all. Apart from that early, well, it wasn't really a transition early bit, but obviously when it calmed down from that peppers and spice, but there's been nothing going, just been one-way traffic. Finish 3 out of 5. The output's really good. There isn't a flavour at all, so let's stop saying flavours, but the earth is alright. Yeah. 3.06 out of 5 or 15.3 out of 25. So, as I said, I thought this would be a little bit better than the pledge. But in all honesty, they're nothing special. the Oliva Cervi Double Toro and Flor de Antillas Toro, I think, scored like 16, 17, 18, between 16 and 18s, I think. Between 15 and 18s, I can't quite remember the score now. It was a little while ago, but the write-up will be, if it's not up by the time this video is up, it will be up very soon. But they were just boring. They were nothing, they were boring. The double Ligero, the LFD head-to-head between the double Ligero and the Ligero. The double Ligero was boring as well. It wasn't really that much better. I was better than the other two because it had Dominican tobacco, so it had a bit of base flavour note, but it wasn't special. But the Ligero was a much nicer smoke. I'd rather have a few of those, like a pack of 5 or something, like good yard guards. I can just chill with those yard guards. I'd rather have those any day than have any of these two and the other two I just mentioned. So yeah, 15.3 out of 25, and that concludes the Cigar Aficionado 96, 98 plus high score rating. The EP Carrillo boys. I'm sort of glad we did La Historia because it would have probably been the same way. So yeah, guys, I hope you, for me I didn't really, but I hope you guys would have enjoyed this little episode of the EP Carrillos. I'm glad to say I've finally done it. I've finally got to try them both out, but unfortunately for me, they just haven't been good cigars. So again, please like, share, and subscribe, and catch us up, you know, for the rest stuff you got going on, and for next month you got some great stuff coming on. Viva.